welcome. Today when I went out into the garden, an enormous sunflower that I have been watching for weeks has been blown over by our winds. So I've rescued its head full of sunflower seeds, and it's very heavy and huge. So I chopped it off its stem that was lying on the floor. It's not just the head blew off, the whole sunflower fell over in the howling gales. You can see there's a few spaces missing here. Obviously the birds have already been having a little go at it, so it's time it was brought in anyway. These seeds, we can just rub the sunflower quite firmly and they will fall out of this head. And underneath we're left with like a, I don't know, a scouring panny bit, scrubby bit. Now that, my splendid, huge, I don't think I've ever grown a sunflower with a head quite this enormous. It's wonderful. Oh, lay it back down. There we go, heavy head. Knocking them out. Now these seeds I've just knocked out of my sunflower are not quite ripe yet. They will ripen off of the plant now. I just need to keep them somewhere dry. Not hot, not cold, just dry. I'll know that at the moment, I don't know how well you can see on the camera, they're a sort of even pale grey colour. When they ripen, they'll go like these I've already collected earlier this year. They'll get black and stripy. So we'll have black and white stripes like a zebra. So when these seeds get black and white stripy, I'll know they're fully ripe and ready to store. I've already got some sunflower seeds stored ready for next year, and I'll be doing exactly the same with these. I'm just going to lay them out on, actually, if I put those in that little dish, they can go there, my ripe ones. So I'm literally, in order to save these sunflower seeds, I'm going to take the ones I want, the biggest, fattest ones, scatter them out on a piece of kitchen paper or toilet tissue, newspaper, anything like that, a tea towel, something that'll a bit moisture absorbent so it can help the airflow. And just leave these lying out, not on a hot sunny windowsill, it'll get too hot. We just went somewhere shady and where there's a good airflow going on. And these will ripen up over the next week or two. They'll start going black and stripy, black and white stripes like little zebras. And then they'll be ready for planting next year. Store them in a paper envelope, write on the envelope, sunflowers, so you know what they are. So if you regularly save seeds, it's worth putting the year you've saved them in as well. They'll be best next year. They might keep for the year after, but then seeds become less viable. So that's nice, easy harvest, sunflower seeds. I'm also going to, I'll crack these open when they're fully dry. They will open now as well though, because there's more that I'm going to plant, and I'll save the little tiny seeds inside. I'll use them for sprinkling on my breakfast mueslis and porridges, for putting them on in homemade bread mixes. So it's an extra added bit of protein in the diet, a few wonderful homegrown sunflower seeds. But today we're concentrating on saving seeds to plant new plants next year. So that's our sunflower done. Now we can save seeds from lots of the plants that we grow. Some are harder than others and some are really easy. I've got some corn, these little short stumpy corns that I've kept. I left them on the plant till they start drying out. I don't know if they'll come off now, they've been there for a while. There we go. And these little corn kernels, you just keep them on your corn stalk. Leave one of your corn stalks standing in the garden, even when you've cleared everything else, and just leave that corn head to dry and ripen on the plants. And you'll get these little tiny kernels of corn, again, now ready to store, so you can plant new corn plants next year with these corn kernel seeds. Again, in an envelope, write on it what it is, and put it in a nice dry space for next year. other seeds that are best left on the plant to dry. I've got a pea pod here that I pulled off the plant this morning. It's been there all summer long. Left it not picked on purpose, and when you crack it open, inside, now it's all dried out and they're falling out as well, are the dry peas. Do the same with beans, chickpeas, lentils, anything that's growing in a pod. Leave it on the plant, leave a few on the plant until the plant, that's a corn kernel, until the plants start drying out, and then you crack open those dry pods and you've got peas ready to store and save and plant next year. Gather them all up and get rid of my waste. Now things get a bit more interesting. Tomatoes are one we all love to eat and grow. That's not true. Some people hate them, think they're disgusting. I like to eat and grow tomatoes. I've got, it doesn't matter what your variety is. I've got little round cherry ones, little tiny Italian-y style ones. Take your tomato. You want some kitchen utensils to help you with this. We can have a sieve. Even a little tiny tea strainer is brilliant. Doesn't matter if it's plastic or metal, they'll all work. We're going to need some kitchen paper for blotting things dry. And I've got a plastic tray to put it on. So you take your tomato, you're going to eat it for dinner anyway. Cut it open. And inside there we've got all those lovely seeds. So we literally just get a little spoon. I'm going to do it into the tea strainer actually. Scoop out that jelly glob of seeds. Scoop. And then I've got myself a bowl of water to the side here. I would rinse these under a kitchen tap. And as the tap's flowing, you're just squashing the seeds around. We're getting rid of all that pulpy goo that they have around them. This sort of slimy coating. This is where the sieve comes in handy because it works as an abrasive. So we're just getting rid of that pulpy coating. You're squashing them with your fingers, and running them under a tap would be ideal, but this bowl will work just as well. Scooping up the water, rinsing it through, and then pop them out onto some kitchen paper. Spread them around a bit. Now I've found from experience, if you leave them drying out on this piece of paper, they stick. So I find it better to move them, a Tupperware lid is great. The lid off your yogurt pots, the little plastic clippy top lid is brilliant. So plasticky stuff, although we all hate it because it's ruining the planet, I've got a plastic tray here. It's really good because as they dry out, they flick off of there really nicely, ready for you to put into storage. I'll use my knife for that, I think. The back of my knife, and scoop up my now partly dried seeds off my bit of tissue and spread them out on my plasticky surface. And again, just like the other seeds we've had, leave them to dry for the next few days, a week, and they'll go hard and crispy. You can flick them off this tray, pop them in an envelope, write on the envelope what it is, and store them for next year's planting. And those I'll do later, so they can go on there. Another strange fruit that I do in exactly the same way as the tomatoes is I've got these little Inkaberries, physalis it's actually called. It's a big plant. Here in the UK, you can grow it on a south-facing wall. It really would prefer to be in under glass though, or your polytunnel, which is where I'm fortunate. I grow mine in the polytunnel. I like growing these because I like the fruit, obviously, and they cost a fortune in the supermarkets. But you just open up your Inkaberry, get your berry, And I'm just going to use the whole berry, but we're only going to need a couple in a season. And you squash it, I'll do it over my bowl. You squash it into your sieve and push it in and rub it around your fingers. Again, it would be another job I'd normally do underneath a running tap. And just from this one little Inkaberry, whoosh, 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 whoosh. You can hear them falling onto the tray. Sticky hands, that's why I brought a towel. Oh, got everything ready. It's all scattered around me. So I don't know how you can see my tray. I had our tomato seeds up here, and I've got millions of little tiny Inkaberry seeds, physalis, all scattered around the bottom. So exactly the same process. Leave them on that tray for a few days to dry out, go all hard and crispy, and you can just flick them off the plastic, gather them into an envelope, label it up, and put it aside for planting new plants next year. Now we come on to our peppers. Very similar. Cut open your pepper, actually even easier because I don't bother washing the seeds from a pepper. Cut open your pepper, I twist off its top, and there we are, full of wonderful seeds. I don't know where to put these. I'm going to tip those sunflowers off. And just flick them off with your fingers. So whenever you're next cooking peppers for something, save a few seeds and you'll have pepper plants next year. That's assuming you plant them, of course. So a really easy harvest. Millions of pepper seeds for loads of pepper plants. You won't need to buy a packet of seeds. You've kept your own. So lots of peppers to grow wonderful red peppers next year. So that's a nice, easy harvest of pepper seeds, and we've still got this pepper to munch and enjoy. Not smushed it up like we did our tomato pulp. We've still got the outside of that big tomato though. I can still eat this piece, I just haven't got the seedy bit inside. If you didn't grow tomatoes and peppers in your garden this year and would like to try next year, yes, you can go and buy some seeds on the internet or at your local garden centre and start yourself a garden. An interesting experiment you could also do is go to your supermarket and buy a pepper. Buy some tomatoes, scoop out the seeds and store them exactly as I am doing here, and grow them next year and see what comes up. It's really exciting. You can try all sorts of unusual, unexpected things. I've got some passion fruit seeds, not passion fruit seeds, I've got some passion fruit that I bought today. I didn't bring my scissors in, so I'm going to cut that open. Oh, no I'm not. I'm going to try again. Blunt knife, obviously. There we go, in. I have done this before, and my passion fruit plant grew. So I've got a passion fruit here, purchased from the supermarket. I'm going to cut it open and scoop out its seeds, and just like our tomatoes and peppers, we can clean these up in the sieve. Scoop out my physalis bits, there we go. So scoop out the seeds from our passion fruit, which is the bit you would normally be putting on your ice cream. And in just the same technique, because it's a wet, mushy, slimy seed, we squish that about in our sieve and under a running tap, preferably, until all that mush is rubbed off. And dry it out with some tissue and a plastic tray in exactly the same manner. Now these, depending where you live on the globe, these are going to need some warmth to grow, and there's several YouTube videos and tutorials of people that have grown them and how to start them off. They will need somewhere warm, a bit of a propagator. So rub us, these are hard little black seeds. So rub them about in our sieve, rinse them off in the water. I need another piece of kitchen towel, there we go. Dap them dry with a kitchen towel and pop them on our tray. Now I can't remember if it's advisable to let these dry out or you're better off planting them. Oh, they don't want to come off. There. I can't remember if the passion fruit seeds are better planted fresh or if you should dry them out like I have done with our tomatoes. Have a search on YouTube and Google and see what advice it gives you about germinating passion fruit seeds. I have done it before very successfully. Well, successfully enough, I got a plant growing. They make a really good house plant. A cold winter got the better of mine in the poly bowl. Actually, the winter didn't get the better of it. What got the better of it was a slug, which munched it, razed it to the ground, and it never recovered. So I'm quite happy to have these. I might give that another go, see if we can get some for next year. Another interesting supermarket fun experiment is some things you wouldn't consider. Oh, this is an avocado, anyone that doesn't recognise it. Here in the UK, I couldn't possibly grow an avocado tree outdoors, and it gets to be a big tree. Even though I love eating avocados, we don't have the climate to support an avocado tree. Well, not without a bit more global warming than we've got at the moment. But what you can do is make a splendid houseplant with your avocado seed. That'll keep you happy for a few years. So we simply open up our avocado in exactly the same manner as we're going to have it for a food. So cut all the way around, you twist the two halves and we separate. So we've got one piece there with nothing. This is the bit we want today, is this stone. So I'm just going to flick my knife into it. Not super, and enough to flick it open. Having rescued our avocado stone off the knife, I'm just going to give this a vigorous rub with our kitchen tissue to wipe off any avocado-y slimy goop that is on it. Now this is oh, there is its bottom. Now on our stone, we've got all our smooth brown colour, and then at one point we've got this patch which is the bottom of the stone. That's where its root is going to start forming. So to grow your avocado stone into a wonderful tree, I'll slot a photo into the video clips of my avocado tree I planted from a stone just like this, I think 2 years ago now. And take our avocado and very carefully, not to slide off of it and stab yourself, I've got some cocktail sticks and we just need 3. You can do 3 or 4, and we're going to push those into the side. So there's its bottom, so that'll be its top. If this is its bottom, there's its top. And I'm going to put this cocktail stick in the side. We want a minimum of 3, and 4 is quite good if you're not too good at getting the thirds around. Very carefully poke your stick in. It doesn't have to go super far, just enough to give it a decent grip that it's holding your avocado. Add one there. There we go. So looks like a little helicopter, a wind turbine. Then with our avocado all spiked up with stones, I've got a glass jar of water. You could use a mug or a cup. I'm going to pop him on the top. I need a bit more water in there. Here we are, great big jug with a tiny bit of water. So I'm going to top up my jar just at the bottom. Half of my avocado is sitting in the water. Splush, splash. Somewhere warm, it would appreciate that. A kitchen window ledge maybe, but not in the belting sun. You don't want it baking in the sunshine. It'll take several weeks, maybe even a month or so, and this will start to grow a root out of the bottom. First of all, you'll get a long root growing out of here. And when it starts to break a shoot, a green shoot coming out, then you can pot it into a pot. And you'll have yourself a baby avocado tree. I'm going to leave that one growing. Well, we don't know it's growing yet. I'll leave that in the jar and keep an eye on it. And perhaps I'll be back with you in a few weeks when it starts to grow. You can have a look and see how it's getting on. Other exciting things I've grown from strange supermarket produce was a coconut. Peel this sticky label off. Ugh. I grew a coconut. If you're choosing a coconut to have a bit of fun with the children, or you as an adult, you want to grow a coconut tree, you want to make sure your coconut still has liquid inside, so give it a shake. And no signs of mould or weird things going on. You want what looks like a relatively healthy coconut, one you'd normally be quite happy to eat. Again, check out YouTube videos, how to grow a coconut, and there's all sorts of advice and tips out there. But following YouTube tutorials last year, you do need somewhere warm to germinate your coconut. But having got it germinated, your indoor house temperatures should be fine. Oh, true Blue Peter style. Here's one I did earlier. This is a coconut I germinated last year. Just as a houseplant, I don't expect to ever get coconuts off of it. Just an interesting bit of fun. So here's my coconut palm. I don't know how well I can tip it. Yes, well enough. You can probably still see the shape of the coconut. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but it's still got the coconut here with its coconut palm shooting out the top and interesting roots underneath. Now your new coconut plant is actually going to germinate out of these eyelets on the end of your coconut. All your coconuts will have three, they call them eyes, on the end. So when you prepare your coconut for planting, you want it to be this way up with the eyes at the top, because this is where your coconut's going to grow from. So have fun with that. Go and have I'll see if I can find some clips. I'll link them in the description below. Go and have fun. Plant yourself a coconut this year. An interesting winter experiment. For those of you that would like to grow an orchard or a forest, especially if you're young enough, or just got children and want a bit of fun, again, trip to the supermarket, get yourself an apple. Oh, that's not a very good seed. Let's cut it up a bit more. There we go. Enjoy the apple, eat the apple, pop out the seeds, plant this seed in a pot of soil, grow yourself an apple tree. Now with apples, there's no guarantee the apple you grow is going to be the same as this apple we've just taken the seed from. They cross-pollinate with each other, so you could develop a whole new variety of apple and name it after yourself. Gonna have to wait a few years before you get any fruit off it though. Another one definitely to be planting now if you want to be growing a forest is hazelnuts. Here in the UK we're in hazelnut season at the moment. So gather up your hazelnuts, pop them out of its feathery husk. Don't crack this shell open. Place this now, just covered with a little bit of soil, in a pot. Keep it moist. I would leave it outside, let it go through that winter chill. Put it outside the doorway so you don't forget about it. In its pot, I would plant several and see how many germinate over the winter. Acorns from the oak trees are out and about now. You could grow a baby sycamore tree from the little propeller windmilly bits that fall out the sky. Keep your eye out in the forthcoming months for conkers. Grow a conker, horse chestnuts, sweet chestnuts. Purchase sweet chestnuts in the supermarket. Plant one of them. Plant 2 or 3 just in case your one doesn't succeed. Grow yourself a forest for the future. Or just have them as houseplants for a year or 2 until they get too big. Keeping them in a smaller pot will actually stunt their growth and keep them smaller. So all sorts of wonderful seeds to be harvested and collected and have fun growing. And of course, at this autumn season, can't forget the wonderful winter squash. So when you start carving your pumpkins for Halloween and cutting them up, or making pumpkin pie and butternut squash risotto, scoop out some of those seeds, give them a quick wash in a sieve, lay them out on a tray to dry, pop them in an envelope to plant some plants next spring, and you can grow a whole new garden full of pumpkins, tomatoes, peppers, all those wonderful foods that you love to eat. So whatever you choose to grow, whatever seeds you choose to save and store, have fun and enjoy your planting. Bye for now. See you next time.